City Power officials are trying to remove illegal electricity connections in Alexandra, north of Johannesburg, which have been met by angry residents who are burning tyres. Our reporter Malungelo Booi is there now. Malungelo, very good morning to you. Some frustrations and tensions out in Alexandra. Talk us through exactly what's happening there.
That's right, Mpo. In fact, we arrived here about 10 minutes ago and we found some of the community members actually here standing on the road, and there were tyres that are actually burning behind me. And police were also on the road, and you could also see City Power officials that had actually arrived to embark on that operation, which is to remove illegal electricity connections in this community. And they're saying that part of that really is that the illegal electricity connections really disrupt the power supply in Johannesburg, and so that's why they decided to sort of like embark on this operation. Well, the residents in this particular section are actually not letting them in. Understanding is that the officials did try to go in, and residents, essentially what they did is to chase them out. I want to bring in Usim Thembile Ndlovu, who's one of the residents here and one of the people that are protesting. Fet, kutheni Qubanga?
But sinenkinga la. City Power ngathi yahlukumeza singabahlali base South Africa. Sinenkinga City Power iqala ukufika la izohlukumeza. Isiwa uthatha ugesi mhlambe seka 5 manje. Okwesisi namhlanje. So sibona ngathi nje singama citizen la South Africa. Kungcono siyilwele. Because sine petition ya City Power. Sigeza City Power is more than 1 time, it's more than 10 times. Sine petition bethi bazosilungisela ugesi. Beke bafika bazosurveya before basurveya but bazothetha ama generator. Until now ama generator bazabaletha.
Kaloku bathi ingxaki niyaziconnectela illegally. So bathi ingxaki ke le.
Okay, cela kubuza bhuti omdala. Intambo le kagesi lemnyama iyadayisa ephi nangilo Pick n Pay. Idayiswa phi? Idayiswa yibo na City Power. Sidayiselwa yibo bese lethele thina. So fanele senze njani thina? Should bayasiyuza bona. Mabelambile beza kithi bezodayisela intambo. Babe nganamali fanele beze kithi. Because sidayiselwa yibo. Sithatha phi thina?
So uthi nincediswa kwangabantu baka City Power.
Sidayisela yibo iCity Power lezi intambo sithatha thina because zonke izinto lezi zesa City Power. Ithola la City Power nasesicom so ithola kuphi? Ayikho store.
Nizothini ke anosibavumela bangene ngaphakathi nizothini?
Cha sibavumeli mfowethu. Isikhathele uthi City Power izenzele kithi. Yeah. Sinathi sifuna ukuthi iCity Power is attend njengabantu bala eSouth Africa. Sifuna isibone njengabantu ukuthi nathi sikhona la siyaphila. Yeah.
Ubusithi kudala nisenza i-memorandum nizisa kuba bathi
sinayi memorandum petition, so balokho besitshela ngabo ukuthi si under i-provincial asikho under inanglo yeah. So ku provincial sigezaya imele balokho besijika beze straight nakithi.
So yiyo lento nidecide banina.
Yes, sidecide ukuthi sidecide sifakele ugesi because sama citizens of South Africa. We vote but don't tax. Abantu abaningi basebenza la. Abanye basebenza ku government ehlala nabo la. But don't tax kubo. I government don't tax kithi. Ivotisa thina. I government iyasuza, City Power iyasuza.
Okay, into eqiniseke ngayo ba abazungena apha ngapha.
Hayi leyo sineshonga leyo. Sineshonga leyo.
Babangena?
Asazi uzonzakalana. Asazi uzonzakalana. Ngeke ngisho ukuthi malimaza ngoba asazi uzonzakalana.
Kodwa uthi abazungu
ukuthi ungena ngaphakathi hayi cha siyala.
Bazongena mabasifakele ugesi. Okay, good, ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga.
Thembile Ndlovu, Mpo, that's one of the residents here at River Park, actually not far from Alexandra Township, essentially saying that they're not going to allow those City Power officials to actually go and disconnect their electricity. And also he mentioned something that's actually quite interesting. He says most of the people that help them to connect, their electricity, it's officials from City Power themselves. He said, where would residents buy, cables to connect for electricity? He says it's the officials themselves. And he's gone as far as to say this is not the first time City Power actually does this to them, and this is in fact the 6th time City Power, that's what he says, comes into this area and tries to cut their electricity supply off, but they are saying this time around they are not going to allow that, but also raising a fact that they have actually sent memorandums to officials asking them to provide them with a proper electricity supply, but that has not happened. And he's gone as far as to say that that's why people have resorted to connecting themselves illegally. But what residents here, especially what Ntembile is saying, is that what they are adamant about is that those officials from City Power are not going to go inside and disconnect their electricity.
Malungelo, as residents remain determined and adamant that they will not allow City Power to enter the River Park community, let's talk a little bit about the problems and the challenges faced by the power utility, Eskom, as well as City Power, network overloading being one of them, and recovering lost revenue also being a priority at the top of their list.
That's right. I suppose, I mean, one of the things that officials from City Power, in that statement which they issued earlier, was that they're embarking on this operation because the illegal electricity connections actually impact the electricity supply in the city of Johannesburg. And this is something also the power utility, Eskom, could attest to. In fact, I was talking to Eskom's spokesperson earlier, asking them about the impact this has, you know, on their infrastructure and all of that. Uskonati Manjanja said in Johannesburg alone as Eskom, last year, in Gauteng rather, alone as Eskom, they lost about R1 billion because they had to fix, you know, an infrastructure which he says was damaged as a result of illegal electricity connections. But what residents though are saying is that there have been engagements with some of the officials asking them to sort out their problem and connect their electricity supply, but that has not happened. And that's why you currently seeing what we're currently seeing here, and residents also taking matters into their own hands, connecting themselves. And also Ntembile saying that it's not that residents don't want to pay. Residents do want to pay for electricity, but officials must connect them.
Very well. Let's leave it there for now. Our reporter Malungelo Booi out in River Park near Alexandra, monitoring a protest where the residents are adamant that City Power will not enter the community to disconnect illegal electricity connections.